Hi everyone, today we are doing another segment of 0 to 60 with Chris Pfaff, this time in a Porsche Taycan. And Chris, I want you to tell me about your experience with electric vehicles, because I know before you weren't so pro EV, but that has completely changed. Tell me about that.
Yeah, surprisingly, I hate to admit it when I'm wrong, and on this one I was wrong once again, because 18 months ago I said electric, they're going to come a bit, there'll be a bit of them, that's fine, I'm still going to drive my hyper 6 and 8 cylinder turbo engines, but that's really changing. And I first experienced the Porsche a year ago for two months, and I really enjoyed the car, but I still had a lot of nervousness, misgivings about range, anxiety, how fast it would be to charge, where do you find a charge, all that stuff. So I didn't drive them for 10 months, and now I've been driving one again for the last few weeks, and it's really now become sort of, I don't even think about it. What I do think about, though, is that I never have to go to the gas station and fill up my car, which is everyone seems to think that, and says that's a real inconvenience. Even in the big picture of things, it's not, but so you get home every night, you plug it in, and away you go. And this whole electric car thing is changing quickly in the industry. So many of our brands that we represent are going to be bringing out electric vehicles. They're getting better with each new generation of vehicle, better ranges. They just function better overall. So there's just so much happening with regards to that. The other thing was, I've been also driving hybrid, and I drove a few different hybrids in the last few months, BMW 7 Series and the Porsche Cayenne Coupe hybrid. And again, until you spend time with them, I mean, we get all the training and stuff from the manufacturers, but you really got to spend time. And what I realized that without having to worry about full electric with a hybrid, I'm driving about 20% of my total mileage in electric mode. So I'm saving 20% on fuel with that car. And again, I've got complete flexibility because it still is a conventional gas engine vehicle. And when I'm doing city driving, depending on the vehicle, you're getting anywhere from 30 to 50 kilometers of pure electric range. So if you're a primarily city driver, you're primarily getting full electric. And I have a friend in England, and he's driving a hybrid, and he says he fills up twice a year.
No kidding.
And that's with his driving characteristics. He does short commutes to his office, and he does short commutes to the airport.
He drives a hybrid.
He drives a hybrid, and he fills up twice a year.
Because he's not a long haul driver,
not a
right?
long haul driver. Where me, I'm doing a lot of highway driving, but still getting about 20% of my mileage was full electric. So again, that's that stuff is really becoming revolutionary.
So when it comes to getting into the EV world, experiencing it, you can either go full electric if you're someone who does those longer drives, right? Or the hybrid is such a neat experience. Does your wife drive a plug-in hybrid right now?
She is driving a plug-in Cayenne hybrid as well.
What does she think?
She loves it. I mean, she's like, it's not, she doesn't really think about it because it's so easy. So it's been really cool. I mean,
I love that.
We have a lot of discussion in the industry about how many cars will be electric by when, and there's different discussions because we also worry that we don't actually have enough power on the grid to power. If suddenly the consumers went 50% full electric, we're not sure we have the power to charge those cars every night. So we're still not sure exactly how it's going to go. I think technology obviously is going to continue to accelerate and improve. But I'm going to tell you some really cool news that I just heard a few weeks ago. Porsche and some other car manufacturers are developing a biofuel, which means it's a type of fuel you still put into your conventional gas engine, but it emits 70% less carbon.
Oh, wow.
So that's game-changing as well, because that means old cars and current cars are going to emit a lot less carbon. And so we're going to start seeing those vehicles, that gasoline coming first on the racetrack, where we develop a lot of these technologies for road cars. And I'm excited about that as well, because with hybrid, with full electric, we're going to have such a greener future and a bunch of different options that we can pick from. So it's cool.
I'm sure 20 years ago, when you know,
Jacqueline, are you bracing yourself? That's the other thing about these cars when you say,
woo!
I mean,
Love that. What did you put it into?
Sport Plus.
Sport Plus. I was going to say beast mode, but
I mean, these vehicles have sub 3 seconds, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, and 0 to 200 kilometers an hour on the Autobahn in 8 seconds. I think 8 seconds and a bit. So
that electric power is instantaneous. It really is. Oh, I love this car so much. But I was saying before you put the pedal down, 20 years ago, you probably didn't have any idea that the auto industry would be all of a sudden, in 2021 on the brink of this major changeover, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's never even I thought about that in the early 2000s. We weren't even thinking about it. And Elon Musk, for whatever you think of him, he's been a controversial figure, but he certainly has changed the industry and changed the world for sure. How we thought about what could propel vehicles. So I mean, it's been pretty amazing. When
you think about electric vehicles and performance, because I know you're a guy who, the reason you love cars and being behind cars is the performance.
Look at that, there's one there.
There's a Taycan. There's a from Pfaff too.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Love it. So I was saying performance. When it comes to performance vehicles, we're seeing, McLaren. McLaren just came out with the plug-in hybrid Artura. All of our other brands are coming out with really high-performance EV cars. Is that exciting for you? And what does that mean for just the people who love the performance of cars, track driving, all of that?
Well, we have, it gives you all of that performance plus. I mean, they accelerate arguably faster than gasoline cars, equivalent weight to power ratio and stuff. So, I mean, the cars are fantastic. And like you said, there's a ton of them coming. And it's going to be really exciting to see where we are, 10 years from now. When we look at leasing these cars through our leasing company, we were a little bit concerned about what the residual values would be and how we would set them as a company, because we weren't sure about resale values on electric cars. Well, there's been a real tipping point of consumer preferences. I think a KPMG study released a few weeks ago said half of consumers, 50%, are considering electric with their next purchase. So I really believe that on the used car market, there's going to be a high demand for them, which is also just going to add better residuals to the car. I mean, cost of ownership will come down even more.
Which is great news
with
for
these
everybody.
cars, there's 25-30% less maintenance. So you're in less often, and your cost of maintaining the car a lot less. And of course, you're paying zero for gas. So you need to equate that into, if you start to look at comparing what it costs you to operate an electric car versus a gasoline car, you need to have a hard look at those numbers, because there's some significant savings, even though electric cars tend to be a little bit more expensive to start.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what you need to, when you are purchasing your next car, keep that in mind. Run the numbers and see if it can work for you. And in most cases, it can and will. I wanted to talk about, because driving EV is such a new thing, you mentioned range anxiety. When you first took this Taycan, you had it for a month. Did you experience that feeling of, oh my goodness, where is there a charger? Where can I charge it? What if I get stuck somewhere? Did you go through that?
Yeah, and it was stupid.
Did you have a charger at home at the time? No, obviously.
I did. No, I did. I had to charge at home.
Okay.
But I mean, I was worried about coming from Toronto to Newmarket for the day, and I'd plug it right in at the dealership in Newmarket, because I always wanted to have it full, and I was always looking at the mileage.
It's like our iPhone, right?
And now this year I'm like, it's just like, I know I've got way more than enough for what I'm going to be doing today.
Perfect.
It doesn't. You don't think about it. I find it so strange.
Oh. Okay, so we are in the brand new Taycan, which is Porsche's first all-electric vehicle. Stunning vehicle, and is doing really well at our Porsche stores, which is great news, and showing that there is such a high demand for this type of car. What do you love about the Taycan?
Well, I mean,
what's not to love?
You can hear it very quiet. a very serene experience.
Yeah.
So, you know, you find yourself in this type of vehicle sometimes not putting on the news or the music because you just want the peace.
Oh,
And I never really
that's
did that.
nice.
I never really do that in a you know, conventional gas engine vehicle.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. The immediate response we spoke about.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing about this car is that you still know you're in a Porsche, and
Yeah.
Porsche has an unmistakable feel to it. And so when you get in this car, you don't just feel like you're getting into like a golf cart. You're getting into a Porsche.
Mm-hmm.
The interior is beautiful. The handling is pure Porsche. So no, it's really neat.
I also love that you can, for that enhanced experience, you can turn on the, what is it called, Chris? You'll know the word.
Sport and Sport Plus,
And
you
it-
can see it here. And then the other one is, which I used because I went up north yesterday,
Yeah.
quite a range, and I was a little bit concerned coming home. You put it on range, and it actually gives you the best range, and it doesn't allow you to accelerate quite as fast, limits your speed, your top speed. So that's kind of
Okay.
neat too. So you got these different modes that you can adjust on the vehicle for whatever you need. You want more performance,
Right.
fine. You want to conserve the electricity, then you can do that as well.
And for your driving based on what you need. Yeah. When you do turn it into Sport Plus, it does give off this external sound. I know when I took the Taycan, I took a little drive down Main Street in the town that I live in, and heads would turn, right? When I would drive past, people would think, what is that? It's almost like an extraterrestrial sound. Super cool.
So
Love
I don't know if I get the shot. I've put it on now, and we'll see if we
Okay.
can hear it through the video. But
Yeah.
I was told by Porsche,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to qualify. I'm not sure if I got the story straight,
Mm-hmm.
but they used a Star Wars
Yes.
producer developer to come up with it. Hear that sound?
Yes.
And
I hear that.
How can I help you?
oh my God, you see, the machine wants to talk to us about that sound.
Oh,
so.
wow. Oh, geez.
See, she's laughing. It's emotional
I
for her.
mean,
The car's emotional. It's creating emotion. That's what a Porsche's all about.
It's truly something else. I tell you, that instantaneous power. You have to drive electric. If you haven't experienced it, I strongly suggest you come out to our dealerships and try an EV vehicle and spend some time, because once you get in one, that's it. For me, I was sold.
Yeah, one last thing I'd like to say is that
Sure.
we encourage extended test drives,
Of
especially
course.
with a new car like this, so that you can really spend some time with it and get a feel. We encourage you not just to go around the block in it, but really to book a time and spend some time in the car in different conditions in the city or driving out on the highway and stuff, and that'll give you a much better idea.